morning. My name is Agnes Kovacs, and I serve on the board here at the DePage Unitarian Universalist Church. My pillar is community. We want to welcome everyone to our open, inclusive community. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold that there are many spiritual paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another as we each explore these paths. At first-time and returning visitors, it is our custom to invite you to stand and give your name and where you are from if you feel comfortable doing so. Are there any visitors who would like to introduce themselves today? Welcome. Welcome. Any other visitors this morning? Welcome to everyone visiting today. Please join us after the service for a coffee hour. We would love to have a chance to get to know you better. I will be there along with our other members. In addition, our minister, Mr. Reverend Mike Walker, and our Director of Religious Education, Steve Cooper, will be there and happy to meet you. Do we have joys and concerns today? No, okay, thank you. Have you noticed that coffee hour in Creeves Hall can be crowded and maybe a little intimidating? Grab your cup of coffee and come down to the lower annex to meet other visitors and a couple of folks from the congregation from the Congregational Life Committee. We can answer questions that you might have and just to let you get to know each other. We're looking forward to meeting everyone. Our service can be heard outside the glass doors at the back of the sanctuary should you feel a need to leave. As we begin our service, please silence all electronic devices. Thank you for joining us this morning.
I light this chalice in celebration for the Christmas story and in celebration for every new life announced by every star that has ever shone.
Good morning. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our church for our annual holiday pageant service. We're happy to see all of you this morning. I'm the Reverend Michael Walker, the interim minister of this church.
And I'm Steve Cooper, the Director of Religious Education for our church. And you are in for a treat today. Today we're going to share the story of the birth of Jesus. We call it the Nativity, from the Gospels of Luke and Matthew. Today we're not just going to reread the story of the Nativity or retell it, we're going to relive it as we experience what it means to be a people of awe.
You may ask, why do we celebrate the Nativity? Most of us here probably do not believe in Jesus as a deity. Most probably do not believe in angels or a virgin birth. True, but we do believe in songs which are born in the hearts and minds of people. We believe that some stories deserve to live forever because of what they tell us about ourselves. The angels singing an anthem of peace and goodwill deserve to be heard forever because they are the angels in our very human hearts. The humble shepherds who had ears to hear and hearts to receive messages of joy deserve to live to the end of time. The wise people, so faithfully seeking the way of a star, deserve to go in search again each year, as long as the years shall be, for they are the story of our quest for ourselves.
Rather than just hearing or watching the story, we're going to get inside of it and make it our own story as much as possible. This, of course, depends entirely on everyone's goodwill and cooperation. Some of you, we hope, will take part in the story and help us to see and experience that familiar, beloved tale in a new way, as if we were actually present within the story, as if it were happening right here and right now, as if we'd never heard the story before.
Although nativity drawings and paintings existed earlier, St. Francis of Assisi celebrated Christmas by setting up the first known three-dimensional nativity scene around the year 1220. He used real animals to create a living scene so that the worshipers could contemplate the birth of the child Jesus in a direct way, making use of the senses, especially sight, and experiencing awe. He only used a straw-filled feeding trough set between a real ox and donkey. It was beautiful in its simplicity, with the manger acting as the altar for the Christmas Mass.
Our nativity scene will be a little more elaborate. We're going to read the story, which has been slightly modified, but we will all recognize the familiar characters and the familiar plot of the ancient story. Several times during the story, we'll pause and ask for volunteers to play some of the parts in the story. If you wish to be in the story, raise your hand when we ask for volunteers, and we'll call on you. And our stage managers will invite you to go over in costume, and the stage crew will help you with your costumes and let you know what to do on the stage.
No matter whether you come up to this stage or not, everyone is a participant in this service, for witnessing its creation is as vital as playing a part in it. Steve and I will be narrating the story and pointing to people who have raised their hands. We will send them to the costume area, and the Youth Religious Education Committee oversees costumes and will get everybody robed for the right parts. Once costumed, they will help steer you in the right direction for your position in the nativity scene.
The stage managers will help you find the place where you are to go and tell you what to do next. As the story is being read, listen carefully, and you will also hear some directions about what you are to do. So all you must do, volunteers, is listen to the stage manager's directions and to the directions you hear in the story. Don't worry about any mistakes, because there are no mistakes. And if the little ones with you can't see the stage, go ahead and situate yourself now so that they are able to see the stage. Because we want everyone to be able to hear and see the story. The story is a beautiful and meaningful one, and we're here to be moved and awed by it once again. But we're also here to have fun. So let the story begin.
We bring to you this morning the ancient story of the Nativity, the story of the birth of Jesus. Listen to and watch the story as if for the very first time. Imagine that you have never heard it before.
Imagine that this ancient story is really happening right here and right now in our sanctuary.
Imagine that after years and years of hearing stories about women and men bowing down before powerful kings and emperors and dictators and chieftains and tyrants, you finally hear a story in which powerful, wise kings and queens and shepherds alike kneel down before one tiny newborn child.
Imagine that after hearing so many stories about terrible wars, about persecutions and ethnic cleansings, you hear the friendly story of a birth, the story of a humble carpenter and his wife, the baby that is born to them in a stable, shepherds in a starlit field who leave their sheep to go and see the newborn child, and gentle animals who gather round in the stable where the baby lies in a manger.
Imagine that in this story, all the people are longing for peace on earth and goodwill to all people everywhere.
Imagine that you are hearing for the first time a story that questions the power of large armies and great wealth.
Imagine that you hear a story that talks about the transforming power of love instead of the transforming power of a military.
Imagine, if you can, a day in the future when people will really believe this story, will really believe that love is more powerful than war, that poor, humble people are just as important and just as powerful as the most famous and powerful rulers.
Listen carefully now, because that's the story we're about to hear. Let the story begin.
First, we need the Emperor Caesar. In those days, long, long ago, 2,000 years ago, a decree went out from the Emperor Caesar Augustus saying,
"And all the world should be registered so they can pay taxes to me."
All the people were required to go to the city or town where they had been born to register. For some people, that meant a long journey.
Joseph, a carpenter, had to go all the way from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David that was called Bethlehem, the same village of Bethlehem that is still there today. Joseph went to be registered with Mary, the woman he was planning to marry.
The donkey took a side trip.
Donkey's tired because it was a very long journey. Joseph and Mary had to travel a long way, and they knew it would not be easy because Mary was expecting her child very soon, and she would be, yes,
Very soon.
very soon. And she would be very uncomfortable both walking and riding on the donkey. But there was nothing that could be done about it. They had to go. So they started on their journey, traveling day and sometimes through the dark night, which were lit only by the bright stars.
So we need some stars, adults or children. We need about 6 people to be stars. Josh? Doug? No? Yes. Becky? Bonnie? Both of you? Barb? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one more. Doug? You'll find your stars up here with our stage manager. While our stars are preparing, please stand and body your spirit and join us in singing the first verse of Song 246, O Little Town of Bethlehem. The words will be projected.
While Mary and Joseph were in Bethlehem, the time came for Mary to have her baby, but there was no room at the inn, which was the only place in town with comfortable beds. Joseph looked everywhere, but the only place he could find for Mary to give birth to the baby was a stable behind the inn where there were 2 donkeys, 3 mice, 1 ram, 4 cows, and an ox.
So we need 3 mice. Owen? 3 little mice. Yes, Trevor? And Lake. We need 2 donkeys. Yes, you can be a donkey. And
Yeah,
you can
you
be a
wanna be one?
donkey. We need a ram. Hayden.
Steve.
Like, if you go back there, they'll tell them you're a mouse. We need 4 cows. Adam. Harper. Clements. We need 1 more cow. Ivy. And we need an older person to be an ox. You need a big ox. Ash, you can be a big ox.
Could the travelers make use of this place, the barn, the stable? And could they sleep with the animals? It would give them at least some cover and protection from the cold wind.
The animals welcomed Mary and Joseph into the stable, and the animals were even kind enough to give up their hay-filled manger so the baby could have a bed. Thus, Mary gave birth to her firstborn child in a simple stable surrounded by animals and wrapped him up in bands of cloth and placed him in the manger. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing song number 243, Jesus Our Brother. The words we projected, we're doing all verses except for 5.
In that region, there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night. So now we need one large shepherd, 2 small shepherds, and 6 little sheep.
So Ryan, you'll be the large shepherd. You guys want to be the other 2? Yeah. All right. I need some sheep. There's a sheep back there. Holland, you can be a sheep. Owen, or yes, you can be a sheep. I know you're not a. Yes, she can be a sheep. If mom wants to go with her, she can be a co-sheep with her. Anybody else? You want to be a sheep? And a sheep back there. All right, I think we have enough sheep.
Okay.
Now that very night, in an open field, out on a hillside, A mile or so from town, a few shepherds were standing around a blazing fire. Some were sleeping, while others kept sharp watch of every moving thing on the hillside, lest a wolf sneak up in the dark and climb the wall into the sheepfold.
But it was not a wolf that surprised these shepherds that night. A shining angel suddenly flew down from the sky and lighted on the ground beside them.
So we need a big angel and 4 little angels. Big angel has a speaking part. Nell, you may be a big angel. Sophia, both of you, and you. While everyone's preparing, please stand in body or spirit and join in singing the first 2 verses of hymn 237, the first Noel.
And then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and this angel was truly magnificent, and the glory of the Lord shone around the shepherds, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them,
"Do not be afraid, for I am bringing you good news of great joy for the people. Born today in the city of David is a Savior. He is the Messiah, the Lord. You will find a child wrapped in cloth and lying in a manger."
And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of angels. And the angels were saying,
Glory to God in the highest heaven, and peace on earth, goodwill among all people everywhere.
And then the angels left the shepherds and seemed to go right up into the heavens.
So angels, you can go sit over there on that side of the stage. And the shepherds said to one another,
Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which has been made known to us.
So please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing song number 231, Angels We Have Heard on High. So the shepherds went quickly to Bethlehem with their sheep, and there they found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger, just as the angel had said it would be. When the shepherds saw this, they told everyone what the angel had said to them about this newborn child. And everyone who heard their story was amazed. But Mary kept all these things and treasured them in her heart. And so the shepherds and sheep knelt too around the manger, glorifying and praising God for all the wonders they had heard and seen as it had been told to them.
After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, wise persons who were kings and queens from the Far East came to Jerusalem. We need a total of 8 wise persons to go to the costume area now.
Who would like to be a wise person? You may be a wise person. You may be a wise person. Phil, both of you. Maxime, you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to save you. Rourke. That night, as they were sitting on the roof watching the sky, they saw a new bright star where they had never seen such a star before. They wondered what it meant. What important event just happened somewhere on the earth? One of them thought that a child had been born who was going to be a very great and good man. The wise persons learned from the king about a prophecy which had been spoken long ago, that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. So the wise persons set out for Bethlehem.
Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we have observed his star in the skies, and we have come to praise him and bring him gifts.
Now we need an awesome volunteer to be our special star.
Laura, would you like to be our special star? Our special star is going to lead our wise men, people, to Bethlehem. And there, ahead of them, went the star that they had seen when it first appeared in the east.
So please remain seated and join in singing number 259, We Three Kings of Orient Are.
persons saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy and entered into the stable. There they saw the child with his mother, and they knelt down to their bags and brought out gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh, which they had brought with them. Each night a child is born is a holy night, a time, a time for singing, a time for wondering, a time for worshiping.
Now that we have gathered our whole nativity scene, let us pause for a moment. Look at this awesome scene. It is a special night with stars and angels and shepherds and wise persons and many animals, and they are all witness to a special birth. No doubt the birth of Jesus 2,000 years ago in the stable in Bethlehem looked perhaps different from this. No doubt our sanctuary is a little finer than that small, dirty stable. But the love and the mystery and the awe that we see here is no different from the awe that was there at the time of Jesus' birth. As our complete cast holds their places in this nativity scene, let us celebrate the love and wonder of this story by singing Joy to the World. Please stand in body or in spirit.
We want to thank Mara and Rich and William and Clara for being our Holy Family today. A tradition that has been held at our church for many years is our mitten tree. We start with a bare tree and decorate it with mittens and gloves, scarves, and hats. And these items are then given to the children whose families might not be able to afford them otherwise. At this time, we're going to decorate our mitten tree. If you brought mittens and scarves and hats today, you can bring them up during the offertory and hang them on the tree. And we also have some extras that people dropped off during the week that our helpers will hand out to you. So we will take the offering at the same time.
May all the candles that we light this holiday season remind us of the glowing love within the heart. May the carols we sing uplift our spirits and renew our hope and our vision. May the special moments we spend with family and friends strengthen the bonds of caring between us at this time and throughout the coming year. Blessed be, and go now in peace.